Hi guys, Ryan here. So, today I have a brand new One Piece video for you guys. This is going to be for the second manga box set, which contains volumes 24 to 46. So yes, without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so I absolutely love how colorful and wonderful the art style is for One Piece. So good. So, the Baroque work arc ended in the last volume, and now we're starting in the Jaya / Skypiea arc. So you have the two Monkey Brothers there, Bellamy, Nico Robin, Luffy right in the middle, and Bellamy totally disrespects Zoro and Luffy, but then Luffy beats him down. So that was pretty cool, seeing that. It was kind of the same scene, so like in the very beginning of One Piece, when Luffy's a little boy and Shanks gets disrespected at a bar, that same thing happens to Luffy and Zoro, but luckily Bellamy got what's coming, essentially. But yeah, this arc starts really interesting, like this giant ship falls from the sky and then Nami's log post starts pointing up and she's like, what's going on here? And Nico Robin is just like, there's a sky island. And then they're like, what? Sky Islands? I didn't know about that. So yeah, that happens. We got Vivi and Luffy on the back, and I think Vivi is good enough to be a Straw Hat, in my opinion. But yeah, that's volume 24. Every volume One Piece is so good. I love it. Alright, next up we got is volume 25. We got Shanks, Buggy, Blackbeard, one of the Marines, Goat, and then Luffy there. Really jazzed up. Really revved up. So yeah, in this, Whitebeard and Shanks meet. So yeah, that was really cool. A really cool moment to see. We have a very fun illustration on the back here with a bunch of sea creatures and kind of waves all around. It's pretty neat. And from the back, I think, yeah, that's where they put those color pages into the Color Walk compendiums. And I made a video on all of them, and like the newest one is doing really well view-wise, so that's great to see. But yeah. Alright, so now we're getting to where they actually get to the Sky Island known as Skypiea. There's this guy named Noland, and his ancestor has been to Skypiea. But his ancestor is known as Noland the Liar. And there's a whole fairy tale about him, but it's actually a really tragic story. But yeah, so they make it there. It says like welcome to heaven, and like everybody there has wings, and they have like a different way of saying hello. I forget what it's called, but yeah. So that happens. There's some like interesting fruit that is there. It's kind of like a coconut, but kind of like a green pumpkin. It's definitely different fruit for sure, but I'm sure it's good. Because fruit is great. But yeah, Luffy's like winding his arm around the tree, and I love the different looks for every arc, like the different clothing that they're wearing. I think that's cool to see. But yeah, wonderful art all around. But in this, there is like this old kami / god. But then Eneru, the god, takes over, and he has like these kind of workers for him that fight the Straw Hats. Like Chopper fights him and whatnot. So that's really cool seeing those fights. Luffy is wearing the wings here, so that way he fits in with the Skypieans. But there is the Shandians and the Skypieans, and they have been fighting for a very long time over like, you know, areas of control. So that's too bad that that's happening. So we have them wearing army outfits here. Very cool. Alright. Okay, so next volume we have here is with the Shandians versus the Skypians. And yeah, Zoro looks pretty cool with the blue goggles and blue shirt and stuff. And in this arc we had to see a one-on-one fight with Nico Robin and one of Eneru's men. But it gets really emotional with Noland and his backstory with the Skypians and how that all went down. Then we have the back here with volume 28. Very cool. Then next up we got is volume 29. You have Konus, the old Kami, and then they view these giant snake creatures as gods. But Noland, there's like this kind of sickness that's happening, and Noland saves the people, saves the Shandians, and then there's like this kind of like bittersweet moment where they're saying farewell, and it's the last time that the Shandians and Nolan are seeing each other. They never meet again. But yeah, I'm glad that Nolan was able to help the Shandians out. Alright, so we have volume 30 here with Luffy and Eneru, or Enel. Either the dub or sub versions. There's different ways you can say his name for the villain of Skypiea. But basically he wants to rule the world. He wants to go to like Earth and just take over. And he has this giant arc, this golden arc. Alright, so what happens next is Eneru basically heats up the gold from the arc. Some of the gold. And then he sticks it to Luffy's arm, and Luffy falls from the arc to the ground. He's okay though, because he's made out of, rubber, of course. But he has to like run up these vines and make it up there, and then he knocks out Eneru for good, and Nolan kind of gets a sense of peace and clarity from that. And yeah, Luffy does a great job beating Eneru in the end. But yeah, Luffy's pretty mad with Eneru messing with his crew. It's one thing you don't want to do with Luffy, mess with his friends. So we have a fun kind of picnic illustration here with all the straw hats. So this is where we get the backstory with the Shandian leader, the god snakes, Noland, Sanji, Luffy, and Chopper. Very emotional stuff, learning that. Kind of backstory, but it's quite a theme in One Piece, having emotional backstories. But that's what drives these characters and gives them meaning and kind of defines them. Alright, so next up, we're getting into my favorite few arcs of One Piece. Could change, I haven't read all of One Piece, I'm not up to date, but yeah, so you have volume 32 here. They're leaving Skypiea and they have all this gold, right? But the Going Merry has it's been through a lot, the ship. It got them far, but it's time for them to say farewell to the Going Merry in this arc. And they get a new ship, the Thousand Sunny, built by the shipwrights there, because it's a giant kind of water island with a sea train, has a railroad track onto the water, and it's a beautiful place, a really cool looking place, and a great arc in One Piece. And we have the bird that can only go south, so that's kind of funny. Usopp's hanging on for dear life. Luffy's on the front, of course, that's his favorite spot on any ship that is his. And then we got a very colorful illustration on the back with them playing instruments. Very fun. And yeah, before they get to the Water 7 area, they run into the Foxy pirates, get challenged to some sport-like events where they could lose crew members. In fact, I remember there's one moment where Chopper's crying because he is he's going to be with the Foxy pirate crew, and Zoro gives him a speech basically telling him to man up, and Chopper does that. He mans up. So there's the back with them kind of wearing samurai kind of cool outfits. Makes you think of Wano. Can't wait to get to that point in One Piece. But yeah, that's a fun little arc on the island where the Foxy Pirates are, and the creatures there are really long and tall, so that's kind of fun. But yeah, this arc was very emotional with Usopp leaving the crew at one point, the CP9 members going after Nico Robin, and we learn about Nico Robin's past, and then them, trying to get a new ship. I love that. It's like them on a train in the sky. So creative. But yeah, this is the first time we're seeing Frankie the Cyborg for the first time, with volume 35 here, and all the gold that they got from Skypiea, from the people, it was stolen by Frankie and then spent all by Frankie. So they no longer have pirate treasure, at least not much. And we have a really fun of them, free falling in the sky. Alrighty, so now we're going to move on to the next pile of manga here. Okay, so they're trying to assassinate Iceberg, which is like the mayor of Water 7, the island. And then Nico Robin's with them, and they're like, what's going on with that? She just disappeared. Suddenly she's trying to help assassinate Iceberg. So yeah, there's like all these things happening in this arc, but it has really good pacing and flows well together and has such an epic finale and epic moments. So good. We got Luffy looking like the king of the pirates with, meat, food, treasure, and all, with his iconic straw hat. And then we got one of my favorite volume covers ever, which is volume 37. It's so colorful. We got Iceberg, Frankie, the Sea Train. We got Zoro, Nami, Luffy, Chopper. It's fantastic. Like I said, Water 7 is like my favorite arc right now. That and also Any's Lobby, which is the second half of Water 7. But yeah. So we got them on roosters, the straw hats that is. But we learn about Frankie's backstory, Nico Robin's backstory. Usopp fights Luffy at one point. Very emotional stuff. And then there's all the CP9 members. There's like so much happening and stuff. But they're trying to save Nico Robin. Usopp dons his Sogo King, kind of brave warrior of the sea superhero outfit. So, yep. And then we got volume 39. We got Frankie, Luffy, Zoro, the Straw Hats right in the middle. And it was really cool seeing the fights between the CP9 members and the Straw Hats. And then we got them wearing kind of like Japanese outfits with umbrellas. Very cool. Alright, and then we got volume 40. This is where Luffy uses his gear form for the first time, and specifically the second gear power up, where his arm turns to like metal, both his arms, and he's immensely powerful in this form. We have the giants from Elbath helping out. Then we have one of the CP9 members right there that Luffy fights and defeats. And then we have a wonderful illustration on the back. One of my favorite illustrations ever from One Piece. Alright, and then we have volume 41. Alright, so we got Nico Robin as a kid, as a child. We have Luffy, Sogo King, Usopp, Nico Robin's mother, Nico Robin's friend. And there's like this island with all this history and archaeology and all that, but it gets burned to the ground, unfortunately, from the Marines. And then we have a fun winter cover on the back. And yeah, we got volume 42 with the CP9 members and all their kind of like animal transformations, with Rob, the leader of them, right in the middle. And his fight with Luffy, his second fight, not his first, was my favorite fight in any anime and manga. So good. So epic. So emotional. You're really invested. Alright, so we have volume 43 with everybody pulling on Luffy. And then we got Chopper kind of going berserk when he was fighting some of the CP9 members. You have them with a gorilla on the back. And then we got volume 44 with Nico Robin right in the middle because she's going to be executed if they don't save her in time. We got Luffy, we have Rob, and yeah, like I said, their fight was so epic. My favorite fight in anything. And then we have the final volume of Water 7, specifically the Enies Lobby part, because, you know, the Marines are trying to take Nico Robin and there's a bounty on her and everything. And here we have Ace, Luffy's brother, Blackbeard Shanks, Whitebeard, Luffy's grandpa Garp, Colby, and Helmipo. So, yep. But it was really cool when, like, all the Straw Hats and the CP9 members were all facing each other. And then Usopp shoots the flag above the CP9 members and makes it burn down. And it's a full-on fight from there. But basically in the fight between Rob and Luffy, Rob is just like, your friends are never going to make it out of here alive. You should save your own skin. But Luffy doesn't give up. And he defeats Rob. And it was so epic how it happened. But yeah, we should look at some of the art. Let's see here. It's wonderful. One Piece is so much fun to read. We got Vivi and Karoo there, very cool. Alright, and then we have the very last volume with volume 46. With Brooke and the Island of Thriller Bark, which is a Halloween kind of arc and island. And Brooke loses his shadow because there's this devil fruit user who can steal people's shadows. And he needs that to go into the sunlight and to leave this island of zombies and the undead. So yeah, this is the last volume for this video. The last volume of the second manga box set that you can buy. Yeah. So, yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave it a like, subscribe and all that, and until next time, peace out.